This is part 2 of the designing an ebook cover tutorial. This is what we're working towards, is an image kind of like this, which you should have seen in the introduction. There's 3 files you should have open. They're provided as practice files. The photographer for this main image is Lee Skalstad on Stock Exchange, and I've provided links to him and his site as well as for these other images. The first thing we need to do is set up a new file. So go to File and choose New or Command N. If you're one of my students, name this file A10-yourname, and we want the inches set to we want the size set to 6 inches wide by 7.5 inches tall. We will be setting the resolution to 300 dpi because we want this to be quality enough that if we need to at some point in the future print it, we'd be able to. And the color mode will be RGB for a couple of reasons. One is because this will be an ebook cover, the primary purpose is for web use. And two, we will be using the filters gallery, and the filters gallery mostly does not work with CMYK. Set your background contents to white and click OK. Now we need to copy our other images into here, so we'll just start with the first one that we'll be working with. So up here at the top I can see the tabs of my window, and I can click on the one that says homeless, and then to select everything I can go to Select menu, choose All or Command A, Edit menu, Copy or Command C, and then click back on our file, the A10yourname, and paste by going to Edit, Paste, or Command V. This one I'm going to name Original Photo, and the artist has already done a really excellent job of getting the lighting and contrast and everything, so I don't really have any adjustments that I want to do to this, so I'm going to just lock that layer. So the next one we need to bring in is the tree bark, because I wanted to put a really cool looking texture over top of this guy. So let's select everything. I'm going to use the shortcuts to do that. So Command if you're on a Mac, or Alt or Control if you're on a PC. I'm on a Mac, so I'll be using Command. Command A to select everything. Command C to copy. We won't need this window again, so I'm actually going to close it. Command W to do that. I don't need this. Oh, this is our original. I do need this. I was going to close it. So paste the bark into here, Command V, and name this layer Bark. So we need to be able to make this show up on the guy's face, and I want it to be just on his face and skin, but not on his jacket, hat, or the background. So the first thing is to find a blend mode that works for that, and the blend modes are in your layers panel. You can click on these and choose one to see what it looks like, and it will use this top layer to affect the look of the bottom layer, and some of the bottom layer will show through. Each one of these has a different effect. The fastest way to flip through to find which one works for you is to hold down the Shift button and then push the plus or minus keys. And as I do that, you can see it going through some different options. And I want one that is pretty drastic, pretty strong look, but at the same time doesn't overwhelm the image. So let's see. That's pretty good. I think I like that one. That one is overlay. Now this is still just a little bit too strong for me, so I'm going to lower the opacity of the layer to, about right there. That's about 68%. Now we need to hide the stuff in the background where we don't want the bark to be showing. The way I like to do that is to add a layer mask by clicking on the new layer mask button at the bottom of the layers panel, and it will apply it to whatever layer you are on. So layer masks work with white reveals, black conceals, and you can tell if you're on the actual picture or the layer mask by the little white brackets that are around the thumbnail. So if I wanted to be on the actual picture and affect it, I would click on that thumbnail, but I want to affect the layer mask. This way we don't actually damage our original photo, and we'll be working with these quite a bit in this tutorial. So I want to conceal the stuff that's outside of his skin area. To conceal, I use black. I can just get my paintbrush tool by clicking B or choosing it from my toolbox. Choose black out of my color picker, or push D and then X to get it in the foreground. And I want a fuzzy edge brush. So I pick this top one by right-clicking with my brush, and then I can change the size this way, or you can use the trick that I prefer, which is hold down Control and Option if you're on the Mac, or I can't remember what it is on the Windows. Sorry, you'll have to do that conversion. And if you hold those two down and click and drag up and down, you can see that you can tell how fuzzy the edge of that brush will be. And if you click and drag to the right or left, it affects the size. So I want something fairly workable, maybe about yay big, and not solid fuzzy, but a little bit of a soft edge. So I have black paint. I'm going to paint on the layer mask. And when I do that, it completely hides everything behind him if I'm working at 100% opacity with black paint. So anywhere I paint with this brush right now is going to conceal that texture. There, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I think I'll take it off of his hat as well. Now at any time, just to show you, I'm not actually erasing from this bark. I'm painting into the layer mask. I can hold down Shift and click on the layer mask, and it will actually cancel it out for a minute so I can see the entirety of that layer. And it's all still there. I could always go back and replace where it's removed in the layer mask. So to reactivate the layer mask, hold down Shift and click on the layer mask. And let's keep painting. So I don't want this in his jacket. And because of the way these images are, if I zoom in with my zoom tool, which is Z, and click on it, they're both black and white. They're blending together pretty well. I don't have to be super exact about these edges. If I were working on another project, I may need to be a little more exact in how I'm painting in my black. You can also use your lasso tool to select areas to fill and delete, and we'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I like the progress we've made. Let's save this so that we don't accidentally lose our file. Go to File, Save, or Command S, and pick a location that you'll know where to go back to and save this file. Okay,